Hola, I'm Chelsea Kirkland, and I'm a librarian with DC Public Library's Outreach and Inclusion Department. In this video, I'll show you how you can use resources available through our website, dclibrary.org, to teach yourself Spanish. I wanted to make this video because people often ask us if the library provides Spanish classes, and while the short answer is no, we don't provide formal Spanish classes, that doesn't mean that we don't have several resources that you can easily access with your library card to learn, both in structured and immersion-based ways. So I want to show you how to access some of those resources and then give you ideas about how you might use them in your own independent course of study. I'll cover our online language learning platform, Mango Languages, as well as how to access the language learning materials through our catalog. And then we'll look at some of our online resources that you can use for those immersion learning opportunities. Canopy for streaming movies, magazines through RB Digital, streaming music with Freegal, as well as Overdrive for reading ebooks and audiobooks. Everything starts at our website, dclibrary.org. First things first, to access all of the resources that I'm about to show you, you will need a library card number and a PIN. So if you don't have that or you have any questions, you can go ahead and navigate to our Get a Library Card link on our homepage, which can be found to the right of the screen. You'll see there's these blue boxes, and you can click Get a Library Card. Once there, you'll find lots of information about getting a card, an online form where you can apply and immediately be emailed the card number and PIN. And if you scroll down, there's also information about resetting your PIN. If it's between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, you will get a chat option that pops up to the right of your screen. So if you click chat now, a live library staff person will help you through any account issues that you might have. From dclibrary.org, to access our online language learning platform, Mango Languages, we will start at Digital, which can be found in the green menu bar going across the top of the page. Under Digital, we'll go to Learn, and then we will scroll down to find Mango Languages. All of our learning resources are organized here in a grid, and then they're all alphabetical. So I'm scrolling down to M, and here's Mango Languages. I'll click Visit. And then we're asked to put in our card number here, so I'll go ahead and do that. Once you put in your card number, you'll see this login screen, and there's two options. You can either create an account, which is just with your email and a password, and if you do that, then you can save your progress as you work through the lessons, or you can choose to use Mango as a guest, which is what we're going to do right now. Next screen you'll see is where you can pick the language that you want to work on. Spanish is available right here at the top, so I'll click that. And then we're looking at our dashboard. So all of the lessons are organized into units, based on sort of level and content, and then within that, they're organized into chapters and lessons. If you are not an absolute beginner, you might be interested in doing the placement test, which you can see over on the left here. Once you work through that, Mango will kind of spit you out at the unit that matches your level, and you can just move forward from there. Or you can start right from Unit 1 and work your way up. A couple nice things about Mango Languages. Number one, even at the basic beginner levels, the conversations that you learn are realistic and natural, and they're read by native speakers. So that's a really nice feature to get you right into it. The other nice thing about Mango is there's a lot of opportunity for you to practice and fine-tune your pronunciation. So for example, you can listen to a native speaker saying Buenos dias here.
Buenos dias.
And then you have a voice comparison option where you can listen to the native speaker.
Buenos dias.
And then you can actually record yourself saying it back. Buenos dias. And then compare them. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Cool, right? Lastly, Mango has a really nice app that you can download. It makes it really easy to just do these quick lessons on the go. You can use your phone to practice your pronunciation as well. And I do want to show you their help page, which you can access from the desktop version, like what we're looking at right now. And there's this question mark. And then we'll do visit our support page. And the reason I'm showing you this is because this is where you can find instructions on how to link your app to DC Public Library so that you can get the free access. So under the Accessing Mango portion, there's Link Your Library. And then there's visual and step-by-step instructions on how to go through and find your library and put in your card number. And then, of course, you can also get language learning materials through our catalog. So just think the traditional language learning books, audio CDs, and DVDs. To access those, you would just search our catalog using the search box at the top of our homepage. And so I'm just going to write Learn Spanish and run the search. You'll see there's lots of results in different types of formats. I'm seeing lots of kids materials here at the top, but I can use the limiters here on the left-hand side to pick adults under audience. And then we'll have a bunch of options for books and CDs and DVDs for learning Spanish. Another quick tip about using our catalog, let's say I'm interested in this type of content, quick ways to learn Spanish. What I can do is click on the item, and then you can see there's subjects that this item has been entered into our catalog as. And I see Spanish language self-instruction. That's one that I'm interested in, so I can actually click on it, and then I'll get all the other items that have also been indexed with that subject. Now, as of now that I'm recording this, we are offering limited services due to COVID at our libraries. So what you're going to want to do to access these materials is place it on hold and have it sent to your closest branch to pick up, because we're not allowing browsing at this time. So when you do place hold, you'll be asked to put in your library card number and your PIN, and then you can pick which location you would like to pick the item up at. And then when it's ready for you there, you will receive a notification. So for those exciting opportunities for language immersion available through dclibrary.org, I'm going to start with Kanopy, which is our movie streaming platform. And you can get to that through digital on the green menu bar, and then watch. And we'll scroll down a bit on this page, and you'll see Kanopy is here on the right on the first row, and we'll click visit. And once we get to Kanopy, you will be asked to create an account with your library card. So we'll go ahead and go through that process to log on. Once we've logged on, we'll be on Kanopy's homepage where we can start to browse the movies. And the way that Kanopy works is that you get 6 free views per month. And you can keep track of that up here in the upper right-hand corner. So I've watched 3 already this month. To get to just movies in Spanish, what I would suggest is using the search bar here at the top of the page and just searching a blank search, because that'll get us to this more advanced search page where we can sort. And you see languages is an option here towards the middle, and we'll click Spanish. This is going to get a full list of movies that have been indexed as Spanish. So these are a lot of great content for us to access from all over the world. Note, some of these movies are in English and Spanish, so you can decide whether you want that or just Spanish. And then all of them do have English language subtitles. But I would encourage you to also try and pay attention to the language so that you can try and pick up again on the vocabulary and take advantage of the learning opportunity. The next resource I want to go over is RB Digital, which is our platform for reading magazines online. So just like Kanopy, that can be found under digital, and it's for reading, so read. And then we'll scroll down here and you'll see RB Digital right in the middle at the top, and we will click visit. RB Digital looks just like a newsstand that you'd see at an airport, and there's really hundreds of titles that you can access. For RB Digital, there's no limits on how many you can get, so you're welcome to explore as much as you would like. The quickest way to get to just Spanish language titles is using this filter tool that's here on the right. So we'll click filter and you can see language right there. And we'll pick Spanish. And then there's quite an extensive list of titles available in Spanish. So my tips for you in terms of picking which one would be, number one, feel free to look at any of them because they're unlimited. But number two, see if there's one on a topic that you're interested in, because it might be easier to pick up vocabulary that way. Also, there's types of magazines that tend to be more text heavy or more image heavy. And obviously, you know, if you're a beginner, you might go with a more image heavy option. The really nice thing about magazines is that think of like a fashion magazine that has a picture with a short little caption. That's going to be really ideal for beginners because it's this nice big visual context clue with the caption right next to it. So just pick a magazine that you're interested in, and it's going to come up on the screen with a nice big visual that you can actually read it just like you would a paper version. So let me show you what that's going to look like. When you go to check out a magazine, you will be asked to create an account. So let me do that now. And then once you've checked out the item, you can select to read it in your browser, and you can just click through, and it's complete with all the images and all the ads that you would see in the print version. I would really suggest RB Digital for those of you that have tablets, because it's kind of the perfect thing to load up on your tablet if you're traveling, or if you're flying somewhere, or if you're just sitting outside and just kind of read on your downtime. So that's RB Digital for magazines. The next online resource is Freegal, which is our music streaming platform. So just like everything else, it's available through digital in our menu bar, and then it's under Listen. And we will scroll down and we'll see Freegal right here at the top on the left, and we'll click Visit. So Freegal is similar to something like Spotify, where there's artists, there's songs, and there's playlists that you can listen to. You can actually browse all the content without logging in, but to actually go ahead and listen to it, you will need to log in here in the upper right hand side, just putting your card number in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Once you've logged on with your library card, we can go ahead and look for music that might be in Spanish. And the way that we can do that is using Browse here on the left. And then once we do Browse, we're going to use this menu bar across the top with genres right in the middle. Let's do genre. And then you can see they've got it parsed out into quite a few, but I think Latin music, which is up here in the top genres, is going to be perfect for us. I think playlists is a good place to start for those of us who are not that familiar with Latin music or music with Spanish language lyrics. So let's start by doing View All on the playlist. And you can see there's lots of options. Not all of it is going to have lyrics in Spanish, but a lot of it will. So just poke around and see what you can find. A great option on Freegal is this Música Latina playlist. When you click on that, you get 128 songs, almost 8 hours of music. So I would suggest maybe you put this on in the background where you're doing something like cleaning or exercising. If you hear a song that jumps out at you, a song that you really like, maybe take a minute to look up the lyrics and take the time to really understand what the lyrics about, maybe by looking up vocabulary words that you don't know. And then, maybe next time you hear the song, you could sing along with it. We know that music is a great language learning tool because it really helps our brains understand the syllables and the sounds in the language. So if you can just work into your daily routine some of this music, it could be really helpful for taking your Spanish to the next level. The last DCPL resource that I want to share with you today is Overdrive, which is our platform for ebooks and e-audiobooks. Just like everything else, it's under digital in our green menu bar and read for this one. And then we'll scroll down to find Overdrive to the left here at the top, and we'll click Visit. And right off the bat, you'll see in this menu going across the top of the page, Español is an option there. So we'll click Español to get our Spanish language collection. And then you can browse all of the content here. We have it sort of divided up into collections. Under the Espanol tab, there's kids books all the way through adult books, so it's all here. A couple notes. First of all, the way that Overdrive works is we are only able to purchase a certain number of digital copies at once. So if it says available like these do, then you can actually borrow it and read it or download it immediately. But if it says waitlist like this one, that just means that the copies are being used. You place a hold just like you would a physical book, and you'll get the email when it's ready for you. So as you can see, you're able to browse all of the content just by clicking in. But if you wanted to actually borrow anything, you would click sign in, and you put your card number and your PIN to get access. So some tips for the language learning. Number one, if you're a beginner and you're not shy about it, there's nothing wrong with looking at some children's books. There's actually some really beautiful children's books available with really interesting content, I think. So no shame in that. And scrolling down the page, one of the collections down here is children's. So you could always try that there. And then the other thing is that just think about the type of content that you're interested in. Books can be difficult because think of something like a classic fiction book. It might have antiquated language, it might have very florid language, it might be hard to follow along with conceptually. If that's the case for you, you could go with something like a nonfiction, maybe a self-help book. Those tend to be written in a more straightforward way. They might have shorter chapters, they might have like diagrams or bullet points or outlines. Any of that is going to help you sort of get through a full book if you're not feeling confident otherwise. So that's always worth trying. But again, it's free, no harm in just checking it out, and if it's not for you, then you can return it, no harm, no foul. The other thing about Overdrive is Overdrive does have a really nice app that you can download to your phone or your device called Libby, right here on the home page. And if you want to download Libby, you can access all your ebooks and your audiobooks directly through that. And then much like Kindle, when you are reading a book in Libby, you can double click on a word, and you'll get an option to define the word, and then there's an option within that to translate the word. That'll spit you out to Google Translate. So if you're in a pinch, you can actually get to Google Translate directly from a book in Libby. And that's for the ebooks. It's not going to work for the audiobooks, but it's just a nice little tool in case you get stuck. So that's Overdrive. So we've gone over, we started with Canopy for movies, we looked at RB Digital for magazines, then we went to Freeble for music, and then Overdrive for ebooks and audiobooks. I have full faith that amongst these 4 options, there's something for everyone, and you can find Spanish language material at your level to meet your interests, to really get you into studying your Spanish.